Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. De Jong has been a very interesting one, and I thought I'll discuss a bit about De Jong for you because we know that Pep Guardiola has always been interested in De Jong, and if you're seeing this ongoing transfer saga between Barcelona and Man United, I was just thinking, should we actually look to swoop into this? Because the way it's dragging out, United won 60 million and Barca won 80 million, right? There's no way that the price will come together in the near future. So in this ongoing transfer lag, should we actually step in? I was thinking because De Jong matches a lot of those qualities that Pep really wants. JSK is here. JSK says, hey GSK, how are you doing, mate? Uh, like we were discussing, De Jong ticks a lot of boxes for Pep. And if you think about it, when De Jong was moving from Ajax, and there were a lot of clubs looking at him, it was said that Pep was actually. I mean, De Jong was it almost on the top of Pep's wish list even before Rodri, even ahead of Rodri then. So now that there's a chance to bring him, and I know we are bidding for Kalvin Phillips. We'll discuss about it in the show later, but uh, uh, but De Jong, I think, ticks a lot more boxes actually than Calvin Phillips. Just because if we get De Jong, then we are gonna lose Silva. Uh, should we lose Silva, JSK? Can't we get both De Jong and can't we keep Silva? Because right now the situation is Barca want 80 million pounds, right, for De Jong. We are ready to pay. We have that money. See, we are spending 50 on Calvin Phillips. Why can't we just spend another 30 more? So money is not the issue again in this transfer window. And also there is no and also I think what people are forgetting here is Ikai Gundogan is what 31, 32 years right now, right? 30, 31 years right now, 30, 31. He's having his back issues. You can't expect him to start every game. So I would think here Frankie de Jong could be a good replacement for Gundogan. So we can keep Bernardo Silva and we can have De Jong as well. I think that is something which is interesting for me because we'll have to look for people to replace Gundogan. Okay, you can tell McAtee can replace him and stuff like that. That is fine. But then you're having almost a world class player, a player who is almost resistant and all of that. And De Jong is coming for 70, 80 million. And Gundogan in his prime would be about the same price, I think, inflation adjusted. So that was something really kicking on me because why can't we swoop in? It's almost a bargain getting De Jong for 70, 80 because if Barca were not in this financial thing, maybe De Jong would have gone above 100 easily. So just because if we buy De Jong, then Barca will go for Bernardo in exchange. Get Xavi is obsessed with him. I know JSK. Xavi is obsessed with him. But another important point is we actually hold the trump cards here in the Bernardo transfer. I know the players' head could be turned and stuff, but Bernardo has 5 years left on his contract, and also it's not like we are snatching De Jong from Barca, right? He's on sale. United want him. The problem here is for United, the player doesn't want to come because De Jong wants Champions League football. It's almost like De Jong is crying out for a club, not City, any other club who's in the Champions League to make a bid for me, get me. I don't want to play in this crappy Europa League. That's what he's screaming. So I think there could be a possibility here. Yes, there is Calvin Phillips coming in, but Calvin Phillips is Fernandino replacement. People should not forget that De Jong is not that good defensively. He's almost like like your Bernardo Silva. Like he can defend on his own, like Gundogan can do sometimes. But he's almost like the creative, crafty player who likes to keep the ball, who can drive forward and stuff like that. So I actually think there's a chance. I know that we are not even in odds on, even in the top 3, 4 clubs for De Jong according to the bookies and stuff to sign him. But we could. There's a potential opening here, I think, because with De Jong we could. I mean, what people are not understanding here is that the midfield could suddenly seem wafer thin. Rodri is there, Bernardo Silva is there. Gundogan is affected with injuries. Calvin Phillips is new, so suddenly you're only having two midfielders in that midfield system where in the last 2 3 years we were having 3 4, right? 3 4 players. So and also this is the World Cup year, so I really think adding De Jong would add a bit of steel into that midfield. Devansh is here. Hey Devansh, how are you doing? The thing is, we don't know how to sell players. Chelsea want to give just 35 million for Sterling. That's an absolute joke, mate. 35 million for Sterling, and there are reports that City want 60 million pounds for Sterling, but I'm highly doubtful will get that. I think the deal could be made anywhere between 35 to 40 million pounds for Sterling. But also if we give 35 million, even if we sell 35 million for Sterling, I think it's actually money well recouped. Right, 2014-15 when we bought him, we paid 45 then, right? And Sterling has scored a lot of goals for us and stuff like that. I think he's been worth the price. People say he's missed important opportunities, he's missed open goals, but I think Sterling's been worth the price actually. He's been worth every penny that we have paid for him. So I think 35. The problem here with Sterling Devansh is I think he just has 2 years on his contract. I mean, 1 year after this season, which means that would you take 35 or would you risk him going for free? I think that is the thing we'll have to really answer. JSK says, by the way, some Spanish sources are saying Real are planning to buy Haaland in 2024, activating his release clause to improve Benzema. What will you say about this? Yes, actually, even yesterday on the stream we were discussing about this. Does Haaland even have a release clause and all of that? And most of us agreed yesterday that it's all bullshit spread by the Spanish media. You see, Florentino Perez is unable to, his ego has been hurt, is unable to, accept the fact that he hasn't got Mbappe and he hasn't got Haaland as well. He's unable to accept the fact that he's lost in his pursuit of a player to PSG and Man City. Apparently, the clubs he doesn't consider as part of that elite group. That's what he says. So that's why he's already spreading rumors that Haaland will want to play for an elite club. He wants to play for Madrid and all. I actually don't see any truth in this because um, Pep, I think, will be there here beyond 2024. I expect Pep to pen a new deal for at least 3 4 years. Until Klopp is there, we can guarantee that Pep will surely be there. So, and until Pep is there, I think Haaland will be there. Haaland can't leave actually. So that's all bullshit spread by the Spanish media. And also another thing is, unlike what Florentino Perez did in the past, City are not a selling club. We have the money, we have the power to compete even with the likes of Real Madrid. Okay, if players want to move, that is something, but we really don't have to sell actually. We are not in the pursuit of money. So I see Haaland remaining here for at least till 2025 actually. Devan says, I'll wait to see Haaland and Sterling link up play, then take the decision next year. Again, Devans, the link up play is excellent between Sterling, whoever he links up, the link up play is excellent. But the problem is this with Sterling, it has always been because Sterling just doesn't get involved in the link up play. Sterling, finds those spaces in the far post and the near post, which means he has a goal gaping for those De Bruyne crosses and he doesn't finish. So that is the problem with Sterling. Link up play excellent, defensive work excellent, positioning world class. Movement is, I would rate his movement very high when near Mbappe. That level of movement for Sterling. The only thing is finishing, and like we've seen in the Champions League, if you don't finish a chance, you're out of the competition. So that is the only reason why Sterling is heading towards an exit. And also another thing about link up play, you should look at Julian Alvarez actually. I'm actually excited to see the link up play between Haaland and Alvarez. I mean, the people say that the link up play of Julian Alvarez is something else. He's almost near the complete player in terms of finding that passing from deep and all. So that will be godlike. So that will be very interesting. And the next thing here is Calvin Phillips. I mean, Athletic was reporting yesterday that an official bid has been made by City for Calvin Phillips. It's been generally Athletic. They tend to be reliable. So an official bid for Calvin Phillips has been submitted by City, and the bid is said to be in the region of 45 million pounds to 50 million pounds. Again, English player. Probably if this was a Matthews Nunes or an Enzo Fernandez or somewhere a Portuguese player, a non-English player, it would be around 30 million pounds actually. But you know how the prices are inflated for English players. So I think it's right, 45 million pounds, 50 million pounds for Calvin Phillips. GSK says, by the way, about the backup DMF, we can bring Lavia to first team. He has the potential of Yaya, but only problem is he's too young and we can't use him in big matches. Yeah, that is the problem, JSK. That is the problem, especially this is not a Bundesliga or this is not an other league where the competition is not intense. It's literally that you have to win almost every match in the Premier League to have a chance to sniff at the title. So that is the challenge for Pep. Pep here is facing a challenge that I don't think he's faced before in his career, even at Barcelona. I think. See, if you look at that Barcelona team, when he is bought in Busquets, Pedro, and all of them, there were no expectations on him. The season before, Frank Rijkaard was sacked, and all of the stuff like that. The team was doing bad, so he had the time there to bring in, let the youth and stuff like that. Then he won those trophies. But at City right now, right from the word go, you don't have time to blood in these youngsters and experiment with them. So it would be fascinating for me to see how Pep utilizes. How many minutes do you give a Cole Palmer? How many minutes do you give a Romeo Lavia? Where do you bring in Romeo Lavia so that he gets the minutes and he gets the exposure? And also another thing about Romeo Lavia, now with Calvin Phillips coming, I think his minutes could be further reduced actually. Because Phillips would want to start, Pep would want to adjust Phillips to the system. We have paid 50 million pounds for him. I know price is never an issue in Pep Guardiola's in City signings, but I think the arrival of I'm sorry, Calvin Phillips would reduce the minutes of Lavi actually. Just because Calvin Phillips is bang average. That's what many people say, but we have seen Pep turn bang average players into absolute world class. Zinchenko is actually an average player if you keep the emotions aside, but he has worked under Pep and now he's at least attacking wise, the spaces he occupies in the fullback positions. You see him playing for Ukraine. Zinchenko it looks as if he's gone up a level. Sterling at Liverpool was a bang average player, right? Just cutting in, dribbling inside, finishing was erratic. At City, movement, passing, he's become very good. Devans says people at City believe Lavia is still not prepared for the first team. I would rather want Zinchenko in midfield, the same as Ukraine team, and then get Cucurella for left back. Actually, that is not a bad idea, Devans, because you suddenly have a player who can cover for you in midfield, especially with the World Cup year and Gundogan's injuries, midfield wafer thing. That would not be a bad idea actually. You will have cover at both the places in midfield and fullback. That is interesting actually. That's an interesting proposal. But again, the thing here is Zinchenko. It would be neither here nor there for Zinchenko. Would Zinchenko? How many matches would Zinchenko actually start for City in the midfield? Year in year out, not many, right? He would maybe come as a substitute. How many? If Cucurella comes, how many matches will Zinchenko start at fullback? So suddenly you have Zinchenko who is at a stage in his career that he has to start regular matches. Right now, he's almost getting into his prime in whatever he does, and suddenly Zinchenko, one more year passes by where he's in and out of the team. Arsenal might not come in for him in the next window. You do not know. So that's an interesting thing, but I really think Zinchenko would not accept to it. By the way, according to Fabrizio, City are planning to sell Zinchenko to Everton. Jessica says it. Yes, Everton was surprising for me. Even yesterday, we were discussing about it. Because Everton, always thought that Arsenal, Arteta, the style of play Arteta plays, inverted fullbacks, that was interesting. But Everton, I don't know why would Everton actually go for Zinchenko, because Zinchenko is not your go up and down the flank fullback, right? Zinchenko loves to cut in, and the only place I can see that suits him is maybe Chelsea with the wing backs, but I don't think he'll go there because they have Chilwell and stuff. And Reece James, so it's just Arsenal. I think if Zinchenko has to move, if I was Zinchenko, I would either move to Arsenal or I would stay at City, because that is not my game, up and down. Or maybe a Everton looking to play Zinchenko in the midfield. I do not know. I do not know this. But if we can get 40 to 45 million pounds for Zinchenko, that would be interesting. And Devansh, I think he said in an earlier comment that we are not good selling club. Well, Devansh, I think there is a much worse selling club out there on the red side of Manchester. At least we are getting some money for our players, but on the red side of Manchester, they can't even get a penny for their players. No one wants to buy their players at all. Ake to Chelsea rumors. I don't think. I think if Ake has to go, he will go to Eddie Howe. I think he'll go to Newcastle if he has to go. But Ake gave a statement. I think it was a week or week and a half ago that I will stay at City and fight for my place. That is interesting. But honestly, if you look, could Ake actually start in that defensive, in that centre back positions? The answer would be no from me, because see, Laporte, Ake are left-footed centre backs, and the problem with Ake here is Ake is not good at building up play. I mean, out of the four centre backs, I think Ake is the best in terms of pure one-on-one defending, in terms of pure, cracking his man and stuff like that, winning duels in the air. He's the best. But what he's not good at is not good at creating play. He's not good at pinning those diagonal balls like Laporte does. So I think, realistically speaking, Ake, I mean, whatever he said, he'll fight for the team, but for his place in the team. But I don't see him breaking into that, Stones, Diaz, Laporte, that the triumvirate. Okay, when they're injured, but so I would not be surprised if Ake moves to Newcastle, but Ake to Chelsea, I I don't think that can actually happen. Uh, JSK says 80 million for a fridge. Yes, 80 million for a fridge, and thank God I even say till now to myself that thank God we didn't get that fridge. It was just moments away. JSK, we bid 75 million pounds and United bid 80 million pounds. And they got him. I still thank the stars. I still thank destiny that we didn't land Harry Maguire. I mean, sometimes I keep wondering how would Harry Maguire fit into this system, and it's very difficult for me to find answers. People say Ruben Diaz also doesn't have pace, but Ruben Diaz, come on, he has more pace than Harry Maguire. He's more versatile than Harry Maguire, and also Harry Maguire's attitude. I somehow don't. I've never liked it actually. Manchester is blue, yes, and it will be blue. It will be blue for a very considerable amount of time. They want this. There's no doubt about it at all. And then Taylor Harwood Bellis is something interesting. There have been a couple of players who have been linked with loan moves today, especially City's youth players. Again, the problem for all of them is it seems that the City hierarchy are actually unable to figure out which player to send to loan to which club, because they rate these players highly, the players I'm about to mention, but they're unsure about whether the championship clubs or whether another Premier League club could provide them with exposure, and they can't keep them around the first team as well. Taylor Harwood Bellis is a name linked today with with a loan to Burnley. Now will get linked with many youth players with a loan to Burnley that are City legend Vincent Kompany. Kompany, the great is there. So Taylor Harwood Bellis on the loan to Burnley. That would be. Interesting. Devan says the same happened with Alexis Sanchez. Yes, my God, I still remember it was 2017, I think, right? I was just checking my mobile phone on that last transfer day, transfer deadline day. I was just scrolling it every 5 minutes. That did the Sanchez deal happened, and everyone was reporting that City are this close to Sanchez deal, this close, and suddenly at the end of the day, it was like United have got him. Genuinely speaking, I was actually disappointed because I believe that maybe Aguero, Sanchez, that could actually be good that season. But I'm very happy that that deal also didn't work out. There have been certain deals which we have to really thank the stars for that didn't happen. Fred is one. I still don't understand, guys. How did we go for Fred? It would surely have been Tixiki Bagaristan's idea because he has done some stupid signings, naive signings like Wilfred Boney, I think. I don't see even now how would Fred have fitted into this midfield. The guy is not at all technical. The guy is not Fred resistant. Sorry, press resistant. He just has energy to run up and down. Fred would never have fitted in. Good that we didn't get him. United gave him 400. Yeah, that's insane. Some of the wages of United are like really insane. Jesse Lingard earns more than once upon a time he earned more than Bernardo Silva. It's just insane the wages that they play and all. That is why the state of the club is like that. It's almost like you're just going. It's going to United right now is almost like Oscar going to a Chinese club. Oscar was so well talented. Chelsea left De Bruyne because Oscar was there, and Oscar's career almost was over. He went to China. It's almost a similar thing now going to United. You just go there for the money because there is nothing else. No project, no style of play, no endeavor to win. I feel bad for the fans, but actually I don't because we're all City fans. We do it on purpose to paint United to get flop transfers. Exactly, like we did to Liverpool, right? On the last day of the Premier League against Aston Villa, we killed them with hope. We gave Liverpool hope for 75 minutes. We teased them, we tantalized them, and then Gundogan comes in and says, the theatrics is enough. Let us start the demolition job, and that's all. Literally, it was like I really think Liverpool fans started singing "You Never Walk Alone" and all of that at that 75-minute mark. Tanfield, and suddenly we do this. We do this to all our rivals. With City, it's always death by 1,000 cuts. Be it in the way we play, we keep the ball and we suffocate the opponent, or be it in the way we do transfers. It's that is the City way, and it's so. And it's so fascinating the way we do that, and also a few players have been mentioned to go out on loan. Sam Edozie has interestingly been mentioned, and but the two interesting players for me are James McAtee and Liam Delap. Actually, what people around City are saying is this is actually a bit confusing for City because James McAtee and Liam Delap. Okay, Cole Palmer. The expectation is he'll get minutes in the City squad this year. But McAtee and Delap, they've outgrown the under 23s football. So where do you send them? And they can't possibly start, especially Delap with Haaland and all. He can't start in the first team. So what would you do with both of them? Very interesting question. And honestly, I think send him on loan, but where? Where could he actually loan? That is puzzling for City. It seems reports saying that City bosses are undecided actually on what to do with where to send these people on loan. Yes, this is. I hope Sancho doesn't end up in that list. He's actually a R product, and it's hard to see him struggling. I mean, yes, people say Sancho made a good decision to go to Dortmund, but I still don't agree with them. I still don't agree with this majority of people who said Sancho did a good thing, but go to Dortmund because under Pep, I believe, okay, he has scored assists. He's been number two or number one in the assist thing in the Bundesliga and stuff. But I believe that he would have learned more staying under Pep. staying around players like David Silva back then, Kevin De Bruyne and Fernandinho, Aguero and all, than going to Dortmund. Okay, he might not had the assist to show for it, he might not have the goals to show for it, but what he would have is that increase of that positional intelligence, increase of that decision making skills. If you watch Sancho against United, one thing is bang clear. He doesn't know when to cut inside, he doesn't know how long to hold on to the ball. He's almost like he wants to take the ball and drive it in, and that doesn't work with experienced defenders. Jack Grealish faced the problem. It's not that I'm blaming Jadon Sancho, because Jack Grealish, if you see at the starting of the season, he was holding on to the ball too much. It was almost like he wanted to do it. He wanted to be everything: take the ball, hit the goal, triple inside. But right now, in the last 2-3 months of the season, you see, get the ball, pass the ball, move. Get the ball, pass the ball, move. If you think you can, if you think you have a chance to dribble, go inside and shoot. Grealish has become so clear. His mind is suddenly not so muddled in the decision making. I think that is what Sancho has lagged by going away from Pep. In search of that extra time for playing, I think this is the sacrifice Sancho has made, and honestly, it's not worked out for him. Devan says one thing which I think is we should loan our best young players only to EPL clubs so that they can get some Premier League exposure. We always loan them to other leagues and then they end up staying there. Yes, I know about this. They once we end up loaning our best players, like Taylor Harwood Bellis is an example, Callum Doyle is another example. But generally, I mean, mostly if you see, we loan our best defensive players out, but when you see the attacking players they want, I don't think we actually loan them out as much. Because Pep sees to it that, if he thinks an attacking player is good enough, midfielder, attacker, whoever it is, he wants them to stay. Palmer is an example, McCarthy is an example. That's why Pep really City did whatever they can to let Jadon Sancho stay. Devan says Grealish was in Newcastle previous season was fire. Yes, he was Grealish was unplayable. I think even in that West Ham game, actually, Grealish really turned it on for us. He was just outstanding. The best thing with Grealish is his long shots are exceptional. Actually, those volleys and stuff like that. Also against Liverpool, the FA Cup match, right? The FA Cup semi final, we lost it because, see, this is the example. The FA Cup semi final against Liverpool this season is an example of why we are selling Grealish and Sterling. Sorry, Jesus and Sterling. Gabriel Jesus went through one-on-one twice, I think, in that Liverpool match. Didn't score. You know why this title race dragged on to 1 point? If you remember Southampton, it was an open goal. We drew 1-1 against Southampton in January, I think. It was an open goal and Sterling missed it. He bombed it over. So I think Pep has sat down after this season. I mean, I think Pep has begun thinking this in March itself that, okay, the title race has come near, but how do we rectify this in the future? How can I make this team more dominant? How do I take this team to the next level? And so what Pep has done with it is he has thought, okay, Haaland take, Alvarez take, Sterling, his is out. Not ruthless. Now we have to, the next stage is we have to become ruthless animals. Just like at Barca, he had David Villa, he had Lionel Messi. We need to have players with that kind of ruthless mentality. Benzema at Real Madrid, Lewandowski. So I think that is the reason why we are sending off Sterling and Jesus. Crystal Palace Madrid first leg. Uh, Devansh says, okay, guys, need to leave now. Had a fantastic interaction. Thank you, Devansh. Had a fantastic interaction as well. It was great chatting. Crystal Palace, Madrid. Yeah, exactly. Madrid first, like Crystal Palace also, I think. Right. Gabriel Jesus, I think, was also offside in the goal he scored against Crystal Palace. Against Madrid, really, JSK. I do not know how we ended that match with 4-3. That night, after the match ended, you generally celebrate, right? Madrid, against Madrid, you win 4-3 and all, but it felt like we lost actually, even though we won with a goal advantage. It really felt that we lost. Those are the nights I think Pep is really looking to avoid by selling Jesus and Sterling. And another interesting name here is Tommy Doyle. Yes, I know he's not been much on the radar, but I really do think that he deserves at least a shout in, at least because whenever I've seen him play in the EFL Cup and all, his passing from long range is almost very good actually. It's almost like I wouldn't compare him to Andrea Pirlo, but it's almost Pirlo-esque, you could say, the way he can put in those long balls. Again, it's this is the thing for challenge for the youth breaking through. No space in the midfield. The midfield is so much more crowded. Will be a challenge for Pep, and honestly, guys, I can't wait for the preseason to actually begin, to actually see what is running in Pep's mind. You never know. Pep could suddenly bring in Cucurella and he could unleash a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 formation with two strikers up front, like he tried with Benjamin Mendy and Walker were there for a few games in 2017. You never know because Pep knows you can't just keep on playing this 4-3-3 formation. That was one of the mistakes he did at Barcelona. People say that why did that Barca decline under Pep Guardiola? I mean, in the last days of Pep Guardiola. In the last year, when Pep was at Barca, he was trying out a new formation. It was the 3-5-2. He tried to implement it in 2017 but abandoned it. So people around City say that the 3-5-2 formation is actually it is almost a dream of Pep Guardiola. He's just looking for the right person on there to really implement it. So will be fascinating to see what kind of formation he really uses in the preseason, and because we have suddenly got Alvarez and Haaland and stuff like that, so clinical finishers. If he does use a two striker formation, I think it would take us back to all of those good old days. Negredo, Aguero, you remember, guys? Negredo, Aguero. The Negredo was a beast before that injuries. We were almost unplayable when that formation was there. Negredo, Aguero, Tevez. That was the time when we really had 2, 3 world class strikers. Anyways, guys, I really hope you've enjoyed the show. Please click on the like button if you've enjoyed the show, and also please click on the subscribe button so that you get notified. Yes, JSK says Tevez. Yes, I think Tevez is a perfect Pep Guardiola player again. His tenacity, his the way he hands down the ball. Although Tevez's attitude might not have gone down as well with Pep, I don't know. Tevez would have been really interesting under Pep. So Tevez is an interesting one. And thank you again, JSK as well for the great interaction. It was lovely having you on the show along with Devansh. So thank you guys again for contributing to the show. Wonderful interaction. Really loved it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. So see you all again, guys, and take care. See you all tomorrow at the same time.